I welcome you to Mentorship Matters. Today we're going to talk about purpose. What is purpose and why does it matter if we know what our purpose is or not? Now, there's a few things I want to start out with that will help you to begin to conceptualize and understand what purpose really looks like. And I want you to take notes so that you can really think about the principles that come forth. First of all, you need to really know that man cannot tell you what your purpose is. You know, throughout our lives, we get snapshots of what our purpose is even before we come to an age of accountability or real understanding. You know, for example, early as a child, there was a lot of responsibility that was given to me. I was responsible, for example, for my little brothers. I have two twin brothers, and I was left responsible for them a lot. And I noticed also that from an early age, there was this knowledge about economics and how money works and just this overall sense of responsibility. I remember when I was probably about 5 years old, I would get up in the morning and our house was always left a mess, and I would clean up the entire house and I would just put things in order and wash the dishes and whatever needed to be done so that the house would be in order. Well, I didn't realize that those were some snapshots, even at an early age, of what my purpose was. Now, of course, because I run a very large organization, I have an administrative mind, God has given me a keen understanding of finance and financial management, but this started all the way back to my childhood. So I want you to think about that. I want you to think about the things that you were exposed to as a little child. I want you to pay attention to what you notice. Pay attention to what, and I'm going to expound on this a little bit more momentarily, but pay attention to the things that stood out in your childhood, when you noticed at an early age, because these are some of the clues as to what your purpose is in life. So the first thing I want you to take note of is that man cannot tell you what your purpose is or what you are becoming. That's very important. And because purpose is so important of a concept, it's something that you must discover on your own. Now, I've got to put it to you this way. You don't decide what your purpose is. You discover what your purpose is. And here's what I mean. You know, here I have a laptop that was made by Dell, and somebody that was really intelligent put together this fantastic machine that I use. Now, I could take this laptop and I could try to nail a nail in the wall. I can use it to try to fix my car, and it would be ruined. And the reason that it would be ruined is because it's not being used within the context of the designer's intent. Now, the context of the designer's intention for its use is called purpose. How the designer intended for me to use the laptop is called purpose. The needs that the laptop was created to meet is called purpose. So I want you to think about that. I want you to think about the fact that you don't get to just one day decide what your purpose is, but if you pay attention to the things that you are really concerned about, you can discover what your purpose is. Now, the second thing I want you to write down about purpose is this. Self-mastery should be your main preoccupation, since you are a person that is moving toward your purpose. In other words, focus on what you are more than what you want to become. See, first comes being and then comes doing. I'm going to say that again. First comes being and then comes doing, in that order. So you should focus on self-mastery, self-discipline. Get your mind in order. Get your lifestyle in order. Get your priorities in order. Become more disciplined in your appetites. Become more disciplined in your relationships. Self-mastery should be the preoccupation of a person that is moving intentionally toward purpose. Now here's the third key. Your purpose cannot be discovered in a crowd. Okay? In other words, in order to really discover your purpose, you've got to spend some time alone, listening. You know, if you listen very closely, purpose will speak. God's voice will speak. Purpose will speak. And it will begin to clarify why you are here on planet Earth. Now, number 4, what really angers you? I want you to think about it this way. What do you really get upset about? You see, maybe if you get upset about injustices, you may be an advocate of some nature. You know, or maybe if you're concerned about the miseducation of youth, you may be a teacher. You know, and so you got to really pay attention to what angers you, what moves you, what motivates you to act, because whatever angers you is a revelation of your purpose. Okay, number 5, what brings you the greatest joy? When I create this, it brings me the greatest joy. When I meet this need, it brings me the greatest joy. You know, for example, there are some people that they get their greatest joy from making people laugh. You know what they're called? Comedians. So their purpose is to make people laugh. A merry heart doeth good like medicine. So their purpose is to make people laugh, to lift the countenance, to lift the spirit, to lift the emotional burdens of people by helping them to create laughter. Okay? That is their purpose. Here's number 6. What one thing would you do if money were not an issue? Now, I really want you to stop and think about that. What one thing? How would you spend your time? Let's say you had $10, $20 million in a trust fund and you were living off the interest, a never-ending source. How would you spend your time if money was not an issue? Think about it. I want you to ask yourself, how would I spend my time if money were a non-issue? See, those are the kind of questions that point out and help you to isolate what your purpose is. Now, walking in your purpose does not have to be filled with a lot of confusing transitions. You know, I see a lot of people, they try this, they try that, they try the other thing. Listen, don't try a bunch of stuff that, you know, and even worse, I see people start college for this and then they start college, then they switch to this. That's too much confusion. You need to get clear about what you can really be passionate about. What can you really be passionate about? What could you wake up to do every single day? That is your purpose. Now, another way to think of purpose is this, okay? If you ever get lost directionally, then you always refer back, what was the last thing you were convinced you were supposed to be doing? Go back to it. Go back to the last thing that you were convinced you were supposed to be doing and begin to do that again. And then everything will flow out of reconnection with that last thing. Now, I'm going to give you some more keys here on purpose, and I hope you're taking great notes for this segment. Your purpose is a result of divine intent. It is an effect. It is not a cause. Now, why is that principle so important? Because you need to make sure that you understand that your purpose does not originate with you. Now, for me, there's something very empowering in knowing that the divine designer of life created me for something that I must accomplish. You see, there's a source of comfort and encouraging in knowing that there's someone behind the scenes that's pushing and motivating the things that I'm working on because they did not originate with me. Now, that's very important that you understand that. Now, here's the second key that I want you to take note of. Your purpose, everything you were supposed to do, reaches a zenith called purpose. See, the author of these events has been always working behind the scenes to align you with everything you were supposed to do. Now, that's very important that you understand that all of your life, things have been building up to and working together to create a person who would walk out a specific purpose. It's very important that you understand that. And here's a principle that I believe. I believe that everything conspires together for a person that is walking after the designer's intent. Everything works together in order to fulfill divine design. I want you to write that down. Everything works together to fulfill divine design. Now, here's what I want you to repeat after me. I am not an accident. Say it again. I am not an accident. It doesn't matter. In my case, my father died when I was 2 years old. I've never had my father in my life. I was raised by my mother and my grandmother. Guess what? It doesn't matter. I'm here. And the fact that I made it here means that there's something very intentional about my existence. I'm not a mistake. I'm not an accident. And I'm going to tell you something that's very ironic to that reality, me not having a father. Even though I did not have a father growing up, I now have my own biological children, to which I'm a great father. I also have my own spiritual children, sons and daughters in ministry, and many, many people who look to me for fathering. And what that means to you is that you can succeed no matter what circumstances you were dealt in life. And what that means to you is that you can become what no one else ever provided for you if it aligns with your purpose. And it's very important that you understand that you take that to heart and you operate out of that knowledge. Now, the next thing you need to understand about purpose is this. Whenever you're walking in purpose, there's really not anything that can resist you. There's so many people that get caught up with, this is my enemy, and this person is a hater, and this person doesn't like me, and this person is speaking about me. Listen. Never give your energy to those who you call your enemy. Never give your energy to responding. Never give your energy to, or your time or your attention to seeing what they have to say. Focus on your divine design. Focus on the why of your existence. Focus on, in order to accomplish your purpose, you have to focus, narrow in, tune in. You have to remain focused. I have never seen anyone accomplish anything significant who did not learn the priority and the discipline of being a focused person. So it's very important that you take that to heart, that all things are always working together. They are conspiring together to accommodate the plan of designer, the plan of the author of life concerning your individual life and your individual existence. Now, another thing I want you to take note of is this. Everything that has been pre-planned and pre-scripted is eventually called purpose. Everything that has been pre-planned and pre-scripted is eventually, it is what is called for your life purpose. Now, what I mean by that is this. There's already there's already a book that has been written concerning how your life is supposed to bear out the diviner's intention. Now, the reason that I'm encouraging you along these lines in purpose is because you really need to see that everything has been set up in your favor. You really need to understand that everything has been set up for you to succeed, to prosper. I want you to think about it this way. Look at everything else in creation. And if you look at everything else in creation, it is designed to prosper, to succeed at that for which it was designed to do. Now, how much more your individual life, how much more the utilization of your lifetime. Now, the second thing I want to talk about while we're talking about purpose, I want to talk about time. and timing. Remember this. There is a timing to purpose that you have to understand so that you can be intentional about your movement. Write this down. You have no time to waste. Write that down. I have no time to waste. Don't ever believe you have more time than you probably have. You have no time to waste. You know, there's a scripture in Ecclesiastes 3 that says, to everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven. And what that means is that purpose will be established at the proper time. There's a timing to things. See, inspiration is easy, but understanding the timing in which you have to act on your inspiration is the more difficult part of walking out purpose. Now, the more complex your purpose, the more time it takes to process and bring it into alignment. And there's some of you that really need to understand, you really need to get this. Whenever there is, your purpose is very layered and very detailed. It takes time in order to put all of those things together in order to accommodate your purpose in life. Now, why am I saying that? Because you have to learn to cultivate patience. And you have to learn that there are certain windows of opportunity in which you have to sow the seed, you got to take the class, you got to take the action, you got to make the step. And it takes time in order for your efforts to bear fruit. Now, why am I saying that? Because there is no microwavable success. There is no microwave fulfillment of purpose. It takes time to accomplish things of significance. Do you understand that? Now, I want you to think of it this way. You know, I drive a car that's called a G-Wagon. Now, I've also seen cars like a Toyota or, you know, another kind of car. Matter of fact, I'm going to use another illustration. I was watching a documentary on how they make the Phantom. You know, I know we all love the Rolls-Royce Phantom. And it was talking about the time that it takes to make the Phantom. Now, you can make Toyotas, Corollas, you can make them one after another overnight. They pop them out like that. Okay? It takes months to make a Phantom. Now, why? Because it is more elaborate of a vehicle. It takes more time to develop it. It's handcrafted. Now, why am I saying that? Because there is no rush to the specificity of your purpose. There is no rush. There is no microwave. There is only sow the seed. That is, make the effort. Allow for the time necessary, and then you'll experience the harvest or the fruit or the result of the effort that you put into the things that you are working on. That's very important for you to understand that you have to be willing to go through the very necessary process of allowing your efforts to take root and then manifest what it is that you have been working on. You know, there's a saying that I have, and I really want to wrap this discussion up with this. Where purpose is unknown, abuse is inevitable. I want you to write that down. I want you to think about what that means. As a matter of fact, put what you mean, what you think that means, put them in the comments. Where purpose is unknown, abuse is inevitable. Tell me what you think that means. I want you also to use the comments below the video to tell me some pointers that you have grabbed from this video that you believe you can apply right now. Also, we need to know how we can instruct you to move toward the kind of successes that you want to accomplish in life. So tell us right here in the comments, tell us, what do you want to learn more about so that we can lean into this process of helping you to succeed. Until we get together next time, may you live long and prosper and do great things with your life.